Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Roar. An angry roar constantly echoed around the grassland. After 7 or 8 minutes of hard work by the lords, the belly of the soul-eater ant king was finally successfully blasted, breaking its means of continuing to summon soul-eater ants. The soul-devouring ant king, who was severely injured, also turned into a powerful force, frantically attacking the surrounding arms, doing the last resistance. The lords from all walks of life were clear-minded and gradually approached the soul-eater ant king. The atmosphere on the entire grassland also began to become subtle, but this time Lin You didn't give them another chance to grab the head. Qing Gang, who was at the very front, directly launched a barbaric roar, causing a red light to appear on all the plants. Immediately afterwards, a bang sounded. On the ground where the soul-eater ant king was located, several huge vines suddenly rushed out, penetrating the only remaining body of the soul-eater ant king. Congratulations, you successfully killed the 8th Order Lord-level monster and obtained 100,000 mana. The green vines under the blessing of the savage roar can be said to be extremely powerful. With just one blow, it took away the last breath of the soul-eater ant king. And head kills are the same as auxiliary kills, and the magic energy obtained is 100,000. However, Lin You found that his source progress actually increased by a full 5%, reaching 27% at once, 10 times more than the leader level. This head grab is so worth it. Then the next second, the soul-eater ant king wailed, and the huge body suddenly exploded, turning into a dozen streamers and shooting all around. It is 3 treasures, and the essence of the territory. Lin Yu's eyes were quick, and he directly let the vines wrap up one of the treasures that flew towards him. And the 8th Order territorial essence and the 2 7th Order essences on the side were also swept by Lingxi with leaves and brought to this side. Not good. The boss is dead, hurry up. Quick. Grab the treasure. Go away. This treasure is mine. There is a territorial essence there, stop them. In a blink of an eye, all the lord armies were in chaos. Some of the lords even rushed to Lin You directly, trying to the treasure in his hand. Bombing. Lin You shouted into the sky. The mushroom cactus core, who had been waiting for a long time, suddenly appeared riding a plant dragon and threw a large mushroom thorn ball down. Boom boom dash. What? A series of violent explosions, accompanied by a shrill scream, echoed in the ears. Those lords who had just approached were suddenly bombed and turned over, leaving a large gap. Withdraw. Lin You made a decisive decision, jumped on the back of the blade shadow lion, activated the swift shadow skill, turned into an afterimage and ran away from the gap. The whole process was smooth, without the slightest sloppiness. In the blink of an eye, the blade shadow lion had already rushed out of the encirclement, leaving those lords far behind. As for other plants, they were recalled to the territory. It was not until he was about to leave the grassland area and made sure that no one was chasing after him that his speed finally slowed down. But at this time, a sense of danger suddenly surged into Lin Yu's heart, causing his expression to change. There was no time to react at all. The ground below him exploded with a boom, and he and the blade shadow lion were blown away, and his body instantly became unbalanced. At the same time, a sharp air-breaking sound sounded. An arrow exuding terrifying might, almost sticking to the explosion, hit him straight. It's not over yet, Lin You just wanted to avoid it. I felt that my mind suddenly suffered a heavy blow, and I became dazed and confused. Spiritual attack. Lin You was shocked. This tacit understanding of the extreme 3-strike coordination is definitely not something that a single lord can do. In other words, he was targeted by a lord team. And it is a very powerful lord team. He dared to think too much, bit his tongue immediately, forced himself to wake up, and at the same time his palms flew, and mirror walls overlapped on his side, wrapping him in it. Boom! With an explosion, the mirror wall shattered. Lin You in the mirror wall was also shaken by the aftermath of the explosion and flew out. He turned over and landed steadily, And the crisis was resolved dangerously and dangerously. Huh? You escaped? In the distance, on the high ground on the edge of the grassland. The 2 men and 1 woman slowly revealed their stature, and looked at Lin You, who was completely unscathed, in amazement. He didn't expect him to escape their joint attack so easily. The woman standing in the middle licked her lips with a charming face. It's really good, such a handsome and powerful man is a little reluctant to kill him. Full of provocative words, coupled with the coquettishness on her face, it was called a spring, and the 2 people on the side couldn't help frowning. Su Yujiao, we are not here to find a man for you. Don't forget what we're here for. Giggle. Look at you in a hurry, people are just talking about it casually, so they're jealous so soon? Su Yujiao raised her eyebrows at the 2 of them and covered her mouth with a coquettish smile. And taking this opportunity, Lin You finally saw the appearance of the 3 and the troops around them. They are beasts, angels, and demons. And everyone has hundreds of 8th rank arms, each of which is majestic, a bit more powerful than Zhongheng, who just met. Especially the woman in tight black clothes made him feel dangerous. Because the mental attack just now was sent from the succubus armies beside the opponent. If it weren't for the fact that he had 2 godhead fragments and his spirit was strengthened, he would have already acquired the other party's way, and he could imagine how strong he was. And at the moment he landed, a large number of troops began to emerge around him, surrounding him in groups and completely cutting his back. Boy, is it you who injured Zhongheng? The angel-type youth holding a fan looked indifferently and looked at Lin You condescendingly. That contemptuous tone suddenly made Lin You frown slightly, and his eyes gradually narrowed. Are you from the immortal realm? As soon as he opened his mouth, he guessed the identity of the other party. It's just that he didn't expect that the other party would come to the door so quickly, and he came directly to him. Now that you know, then hand over the treasure obediently, and let us do it ourselves. Another young beast type with a gloomy complexion said immediately. His troop is a small rock-armored earth dragon, covered with khaki scales. The explosion just now was obviously made by him. From the point of view of power and momentum, it is definitely much stronger than the ordinary 8th order. Such a powerful lord, 3 appear at once, really looked down on him. Lin Yu's face was solemn. Although he was sure that he could escape, but he had to pay a lot of price. Especially in the case of not knowing the other party's means, 1 on 3 will be very disadvantageous. No matter how powerful his royal arms are, it is impossible to deal with so many powerful 8th order arms at once, and he will be exhausted by then. But... Suddenly, Lin You chuckled softly. He considers himself a cautious person, but he is not a fearful person either. Since the other party has already come to the door, then he will fight. After thinking about it, he raised his head and looked at the 3 of them proudly. Want the treasure on me? It depends on whether you have the ability. The voice fell, and an indomitable momentum suddenly erupted from him. The plants around him seemed to feel his determination, and they kept twisting their bodies, ready to fight at any time. Haha, well said. Unexpectedly, at this moment, a cheer suddenly sounded in the distance. Lin You and the 3 of Wawanji were stunned for a moment, and looked at the voice's position. I saw 2 majestic figures, riding troops and roaring towards this side. Lin Yu's eyes lit up, because he found that the other party was the same as him, the lord of the primitive world, and he did not feel any rejection. Yan Lai. Situ Jian. Why are you here? Seeing the 2 of them appearing, Su Yujiao's face sank, and there was a hint of fear in her voice. Together with the 2 companions beside her, they also looked solemn and looked like they were facing a great enemy. On the contrary, Yan Lai, who had just arrived, gave a hearty smile and quickly came over several people. Sister Yujiao, don't be so rude, don't you like looking for men everywhere? Why don't you think about me? I'm very strong. You can do whatever you want, haha. Have to. The flirtatious met a wild and unrestrained one. Lin You, who had a dignified expression at first, was immediately shocked by these words. But at the same time, he was also surprised by the name Su Yujiao had just called out. Aren't Yan Lai and Situ Jian the two lords who pressed him on the secret realm standings? I didn't expect to meet them here, and they still meet together. He wouldn't think that the other party came to support him specially. After all, they don't know each other. But he didn't give him a chance to think about it at all. Su Yujiao spat in disgust. Yan Lai, you are still the same, vulgar. What? You said I was rough? How did you know? Did you secretly see it? Yan Lai looked surprised, completely unaffected by the other party's ridicule. In this comparison, Su Yujiao's coquettish attitude just now felt a little dwarfed, and her expression gradually became colder. Even Situ Jian on the side frowned and urged, "Don't talk nonsense, we didn't come here to chat with them." Oh, too. Yan Lai patted his head and suddenly reacted. Then he turned his head to look at Lin You in the encircling circle below, and said with a smile, "Brother, I'm sorry, these three people have a grudge against us, can you give it to us?" Obviously, he also recognized that Lin You was from the same realm as himself, so he was relatively polite. But he didn't know Lin You, he just thought he was a weak chicken lord who was being besieged by Su Yujiao and others. "Lin, you didn't say much about this." Looking up at Yan Lai's sturdy figure, he said lightly, "I'm afraid not, these few people just wanted to kill me, I have to charge some interest anyway." His anger has just been beaten out, how can he retreat so easily? And he just took this opportunity to meet these top lords for a while, to see what level they have reached, which also made him a little mentally prepared, but what he didn't expect was. In the face of his rejection, Yan Lai not only was not angry, but laughed heartily, "Haha, kind of. As expected of people from our primitive world, if this is the case, then Lin Yan on the opposite side will be handed over to you, so don't be beaten." Died. Lin Yan. It was the Beast Lord who first attacked Lin You. Don't look at his gloomy appearance, and his troops are not very eye-catching. But among the Seventh Order Lords of the Wuxangji, there are also existences that can rank in the top 50. Originally, Situ Jian on the side wanted to say that Lin You was too careless. But considering that 2-on-3 may be a bit of a disadvantage, it would be better if one person came to help hold one off, so I didn't say anything more. Then he raised his head to look at the angelic lord holding a folding fan, his eyes collided, and sparks appeared. Obviously, there is some conflict between the two. The surrounding atmosphere gradually solidified as the two sides looked at each other. The breeze that slowly blew across the grassland, blowing on the faces of the six people, was a little dry and a little cold. "Go!" Finally, Situ Jian shouted loudly. Without too many words and without much negotiation, a large number of insects were directly summoned, and the black mass was oppressed towards the angel lord. Yan Lai, who was sitting on the back of a huge praying mantis, slammed to the ground and summoned his orc army. "Haha, Sister Yujiao, you smothered me in the Battle of 10,000 Realms last time, and this time it's my turn to repay you well, so please go with me. Crush those stinky girls." In the blink of an eye, a group of majestic orcs marched towards Su Yujiao and the succubus troops beside her, causing the entire ground to vibrate violently. Then Lin Yu was surprised to find that Yan Lai did not hide behind the command, but picked up a huge axe and charged directly to the front of the orc army. "Little ones, rush with me, roar." A deafening roar exploded in the mouths of all orc troops. In an instant, the momentum of the entire orc army was suddenly raised. A bloodthirsty light centered on Yan Lai spread out around, making all orc troops gradually go crazy. That terrifying aura gradually climbed from the 8th level to the 9th level. There are more than 200 ninth orders in total. Lin Yu was shocked. Is this the strength of the top 7th Order Lord? Even more powerful than he imagined. You know, even with the blessing of Savage Roar, he only has a few royal arms that can reach the 9th rank. Although the other proliferating arms have the blessing of Symbiotic Moss and Halo, they only barely crossed the 8th level. Sure enough, there is still a bit of a gap between him and the old lord. This Yan Lai, I am afraid, has reached the level of upgrading the 8th Order Lord. Even if it doesn't, it's definitely not far off. Boy, now is not the time to look at others. At this moment, Lin You, the Lord of the Beasts, appeared on his rock armor ground dragon, interrupting Lin Yu's thoughts. Looking at the constantly surging land around him, and the rock armor earth dragon rapidly surrounding him, Lin You didn't dare to be careless and immediately summoned all the plants. Boom! A loud bang. As soon as the green vines appeared, the giant vines suddenly went deep into the ground, rushing towards the rock armor dragons hidden in the ground. Lin You had clearly seen the power of Qingting. He stood outside the encirclement, waved his hand, and a khaki light erupted. In an instant, the space within the entire encirclement suddenly sank, crushing the ground completely, and the mobility of all plants instantly became sluggish. It's actually the same skill as Qing Gang's gravity field. Defensive stance. Lin You didn't panic, and immediately ordered loudly. Hundreds of ancient trees quickly spread out, forming a circle around the periphery. At the same time, the symbiotic moss on the body activated the armor skill and turned into bright silver armor to cover the whole body. Boom! The khaki yellow brilliance exploded on the barrier formed by the ancient trees. All the ancient trees were shaken back several meters, and there were a lot of scars on the body. It's actually blocked? Lin Yu's face showed surprise. Even Su Yujiao didn't dare to take this attack head-on. Okay? Suddenly, he noticed that in the ancient tree troops, a huge figure that was different from other ancient trees was exuding a thick light green aura. Under the influence of that breath, other ancient trees were also enveloped in light, and the breath became much thicker. It is the exclusive talent of Qing Gang, which dominates the battlefield. The defense of all melee units within the range is increased by 20%. Taking this opportunity, the goblin army led by Lingxi held high the staff, burst out the power of nature, and repaired the injuries of the ancient trees. Come on, get them all out. Lin You was not idle either. With an order, the legion of ancient trees erupted again. At the same time, large vines suddenly rushed into the ground, and spread out in all directions. Lin You sneered, the little tricks of carving insects. Block them for me. The voice fell, and the underground rock armor dragons appeared one after another, surrounded by khaki rays of light, and collided fiercely with Lin Yu's plants. For a time, the ground collapsed, explosions continued, and even many rock-armored earth dragons sneaked to Lin Yu's feet through the ground and launched a surprise attack on him. However, Lin Yu has Lingxi to protect himself, which is not false at all. As soon as those rock-armored earth dragons rushed out of the ground, they were immediately entangled in thorns, and then they died with 10,000 arrows piercing their hearts. And just as Lin Yu's arm was about to launch a surprise attack on Lin You, the ground suddenly exploded, rushing out of several rock armor earth dragons that had transformed into hero arms, blocking the attack back. The overall attributes of Lin Yu's arms are higher than that of Lin Yu. Lin Yu's royal family's peak combat power is strong. Under the cancellation of each other, the two sides actually fought back and forth, and for a while, no one could do anything about the other, and they could only fight frantically across the ground. The chaotic scene made Yan Lai and Situ Jian, who were fighting against each other, couldn't help but look back and were extremely surprised. They didn't expect that this plant family, who they thought was a weak chicken, would be so powerful that they could beat Lin You to such an extent. Not to mention Su Yujiao and the Angel Lord. Now they finally understand why Zhongheng fell into Lin Yu's hands. It can be on par with Lin You. This strength is obviously not a grade. In the primitive world, when did a plant lord who could keep pace with them appear? Gu Zhen. Haha, cool. Yan Lai laughed loudly, and without the last thought, he and the orcs around him attacked even more rapidly. Directly rushed away from the defense of the big demon Su Yujiao, and went straight to the succubus army behind. Su Yujiao's face was ashen. She found that her charm skills could not have much influence on Yan Lai and the orcs. One by one, they shook their heads on the spot for a while, and immediately got rid of their control, wielding a giant axe to kill a large number of succubuses, without any thought of pity and cherishing jade. How can there be such a straight man of steel in this world? Su Yujiao hated her teeth so much that she wanted to swallow Yan Lai alive. And the other side. Situ Jian is even more exaggerated. Almost the entire sky was filled with the mantis beetle troops summoned by him. It was as black as the tide, and it actually made the sky where it was darkened. The buzzing sound of the wings, constantly echoing in the ears, makes people shudder. Although the angelic lord was powerful, the holy light kept bursting. But it was still unable to withstand such a terrifying number of insects. Seeing that her side was about to be defeated, Su Yujiao's face finally sank. Humph. Wait for me. Retreat. Unwilling to shout in anger, she turned over and jumped onto the shoulder of the big devil, and quickly evacuated with the troops. The other two received the signal, and they also gathered troops. One flew high in the sky, and the other rode on the ground dragon. Before leaving, Lin Yan in front of Lin You did not forget to let out a harsh word. Boy, you are lucky this time. Let's wait and see. After he finished speaking, he rode the rock armor earth dragon into the ground and prepared to escape from here. But at this time, when his defenses are at their weakest, suddenly there was a loud bang behind him. A pea bullet surrounded by dragon flames, with unparalleled power, hit him straight. The speed is fast, and it is instantaneous. What? Lin Yan's complexion changed greatly. Before he had time to think about it, the heroic rock-armored earth dragon below him suddenly burst into a khaki light and switched positions with him. Puff, the blood flower exploded. The body of the rock armor earth dragon, together with Lin Yan's thigh, was pierced instantly. The pea bullet continued unabated, sank straight into the ground, and finally stopped after penetrating the bodies of several rock-armored earth dragons. Transposition skills? Lin You frowned. Although he had been hiding Qin Gang's savage roar in order to hide his strength, it was useless. But even so, the deadly sniping of the cannon was extremely terrifying, but it still failed to leave the opponent behind. It seems that it is not easy to kill a lord of this level. Basically, everyone has one or two life-saving skills. Lin You had no choice but to shake his head. But how does he know? At this time, Lin Yan's heart had already reached the extreme. He never imagined that Lin You was still hiding such a terrifying means of attack. With a single blow, he directly killed his most defensive hero unit, and even several other nearby units were not spared. If it weren't for the fact that his heroic units had the ability to change positions, he would have been dead and buried forever. But even so, he still paid the price of one leg being severely injured, which is terrifying. How dare you stop? Immediately rode the other rock armor earth dragon and drilled deeper, for fear that Lin You would hit him a second time. Just now, did you see it? Far away. Situ Jian, who joined with Yan Lai, said in a low voice, with deep shock in his eyes. I see it. Yan Lai nodded, his expression changed from his usual frivolous expression, and looked solemnly at Lin You standing on the grassland. Don't talk about Lin Yan from the blow just now. Even they think they can't take it head-on. I thought. It's just a family member who was rescued at random, but I didn't expect that the strength is so great, and it is also appalling to have such a powerful means of attack. I seem to have guessed who he is. Situ Jian looked thoughtful, and suddenly thought of the name he had seen on the secret realm ranking. Who? Yan Lai was stunned for a moment, not knowing what to say. With his thick lines, it is absolutely impossible to compare to the thoughtful Situ Jian. Situ Jian did not answer him. Instead, he jumped off the high ground with a leap, came to Lin You, and recalled the insect troops at will. Friend, if I guess correctly, you should be the third Lin You in the secret realm standings, right? Lin You? Yan Lai's footsteps followed, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Obviously, he also thought about who Lin You was. Immediately quickened his pace and followed Situ Jian. You know me? Lin You unexpectedly looked at the two people who appeared in front of him. And his answer can be considered to confirm the guess in Situ Jian's heart, and there is a smile on the corner of his mouth. Sure enough, it's you. Situ Jian's eyes were stunned. In the entire sanctuary, the strength can be ranked first, and it is a plant system that I don't know. Only the Lin You, who suddenly appeared a few days ago and appeared in the third place in the secret realm standings. He said it almost with certainty. When Lin You heard the words, he suddenly realized. It turned out that it was the secret realm standings that exposed his identity. But don't wait for him to speak. Yan Lai, who was beside him, immediately interjected. Okay, brother, I didn't expect you to be that Lin You. I thought it was some stray hair that I didn't know. Those unceremonious and straightforward words really made people laugh and cry. After he finished speaking, he even walked over and hooked Lin Yu's neck, winked and said, Brother, tell me quickly, how did you hook up with that stinky Su Yujiao? You actually asked her to bring so many people here. Block you. After seeing Lin Yu's strength just now, no matter how stupid Yan Lai is, he knows that Su Yujiao and the others did not meet Lin Yu by chance. But intentional. It is enough to prove Lin Yu's goodness that 3 such powerful lords of Wawangji can be targeted, and his attitude towards Lin Yu has changed a lot. Lin Yu didn't feel any malice from him, so he just broke free and said lightly, I don't know either, maybe it's because I injured their people just now. However, thank you very much. If you didn't show up, I'm afraid I would have lost a lot of troops. You don't need to be polite to us. Situ Jian interjected, we originally wanted to settle accounts with them this time. Settlement? So you have had conflicts before? Lin Yu asked in surprise. Well, when I was with this guy on the battlefield of 10,000 worlds, I was shadowed by them behind their backs once, so as soon as we received the news of their appearance, we rushed over immediately. I didn't expect to meet you being besieged by them. Skillful. There was a sentence Situ Jian did not say. That is, even if the 2 of them don't make a move, I'm afraid that the 3 of them may not be able to help Lin Yu. At least there is no problem in escaping, it's just that he's thoughtful and doesn't speak too straight. On the contrary, Yan Lai was careless and disdainfully said, Humph. It was because of my carelessness that I followed their way in the battle of 10,000 realms. If I encounter them again, I have to strip that off Su Yujiao. Come on, aren't you going to be promoted to the 8th rank after a while? It is estimated that it will be difficult to encounter it on the battlefield in the future. Situ Jian directly pierced his cruel words. Sure enough, as Lin Yu thought, these 2 are lords who are about to reach the 8th level, no wonder their strength is so terrifying. Was thinking. Seeing Situ Jian looking at him again. I forgot to introduce you. My name is Situ Jian, and his name is Yan Lai. Today, we all cooperated and fought together. It's also fate. Let's make friends, and we can keep in touch when we have the opportunity. With that said, he handed Lin Yu a friend request. After adding, as long as you are in the same area, you can contact by private message. Okay, I will. Lin Yu nodded and accepted the friend request. Then I saw the suffix Chongfeng Empire after Situ Jian's name. Chongfeng Empire? He murmured softly. What? Haven't heard of his name? He is the only son of the great Emperor Chongfeng. There was a sarcastic voice coming from the side. Unexpectedly, Situ Jian's complexion suddenly sank after hearing the words of Chongfeng the Great. I said, don't mention that person's name in front of me, he has nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter, he's also your father. Yan Lai shrugged. So what? All of my achievements today were made by myself, little by little. He doesn't deserve that man, With a cold snort, Situ Jian didn't say anything more, just turned around and left. It seems to be said to the pain in the heart. There seems to be some kind of story on this Situ Jian. Lin Yu silently watched the back of the other party leaving, thinking about everything. At this time, Yan Lai also came over and handed him a friend request. Don't worry about him, he is like this, he likes to be awkward, but he is still a good person. Now that the matter is settled, I should go back. Brothers, we are destined to meet again. Obviously, he also saw Lin Yu's potential. Although there is no chance to see you again in the future, it is always right to make friends. After he finished speaking, he also turned around and left, chasing after the direction Situ Jian left. It wasn't until he watched them leave that Lin You looked around, and the lords who robbed the treasures were nowhere to be seen. It is estimated that after seeing the terrifying battle here just now, those people have already escaped. Just taking this opportunity, Lin You took out the treasure he just grabbed. An 8th order territorial essence, 2 7th order territorial essences, and a shining treasure appeared in his hands. The 7th order territorial essence has nothing to say. It was the 8th order that made him unable to help but take a few more glances. Although he can't use it now, it does not affect his collection in advance to prepare for the future. After collecting the essence again, he finally looked at the treasure. An S-rank military treasure. Army treasure, healing protection. Treasure type, enhancement. Gu Xing, treasure level, S level. Treasure effect. The healing effect of the skill is increased by 3%, and the target treated by the unit will gain a healing shield, which offsets 30% of the damage of an attack, and is triggered every 15 seconds. Introduction. The secret treasure used to strengthen the arms can be used in the base of the arms, and only a single type of arms can be strengthened. S-level secret treasures are not as powerful and perverted as SSS level. But it is not comparable to the general A level. Not to mention improving the healing effect, it can also grant the treated target a damage reduction shield. Although it is a one-off, there are trigger limits. But it is equivalent to one more life-saving skill, and it can be triggered every 15 seconds. After a group is healed, all units that are treated can get a damage reduction. It's a perfect match for the wizard. Especially when the life of the troops is in danger. A mouthful of milk can definitely reduce the losses of many troops. Not bad. Lin You closed the interface with satisfaction and put away the secret treasure. Then, he raised his head and looked into the distance around him. It's only a small amount of time, and the black beam of light at the outermost periphery of the monster plane has become extremely rare. Even if there is, it is still 100 kilometers away from him. When he arrived, it was estimated that the building was already empty, and there was no scum left. And for some unknown reason, the vibration in the depths of the plane has stopped, and I can't hear it anymore. Is the battle of the Great Emperors over? Lin You looked puzzled. Only this explanation can explain why the number of incarnations of the heavenly demon is decreasing sharply. But it was just afternoon, and he didn't plan to go back so soon. After identifying the direction, I continued to go deeper into the plane to see if I could encounter other Lord monsters. Or Lord monsters. Because he wanted to see what would happen after the natural source progress was full. So soon, he rode the demon king dragon with Lingxi, and swept across the outermost prehistoric area, leaving the plane entrance far behind. The other side. Inside the entrance to the plane of the infinite realm. The three of Su Yujiao, who escaped from the grassland, finally returned here smoothly. When they saw the huge wound on Lin Yan's thigh, which was scorched black by Long Yan, both Su Yujiao and the Angel Lord's expressions changed. Lin Yan, why did you get hurt so badly? Su Yujiao asked in shock. Isn't it fine when you just escaped? The angelic lord hurriedly summoned troops to treat him. Don't mention it. Lin Yanqiang endured the severe pain and took out the healing medicine from his personal space to take it. We still underestimate that kid, and he actually hides such a powerful attack method. You mean, this injury was caused by the kid who fought with you? The Angel Lord was startled and looked at Su Yujiao. They had thought that the shot might be Yan Lai or Situ Jian, but they didn't expect that it would be the one that was least valued by them. To know. Even they can't easily hit Lin Yan. What's more, Lin Yan, who was determined to escape. To be able to cause such damage when he escapes, one can imagine how terrifying the opponent's methods are. It seems that we underestimate him. Even you didn't block his attack. That kid Zhongheng was not wronged. The faces of the two were solemn, and it was not good news for them that such a powerful lord appeared in the primitive world. Anyway, let's go back and investigate the identity of that guy first. Lin Yan stretched out his hand to support his thigh and grinned. Only he knows how perverted this attack is. Even now, the picture of the fiery red streamer penetrating the earth still echoed in his mind, causing him to fall into deep fear. After a simple treatment of the wound, he went to the entrance of the plane with the help of the two of them. It is estimated that he will not be able to go to the main plane of monsters to compete for treasures in the next few days. And with their departure, the news of the demonic witch team's defeat and return spread like a hurricane within the entrance range of the plane, causing a great uproar. Even Su Yujiao and the others lost? How is this possible? The three of them are all the top 7th Order lords. Who is so powerful that they are not even opponents? Could it be that he was ambushed by a high-ranking lord? But I heard that and the others seem to want to deal with the person who severely injured Zhongheng. Is it the monsters from other realms? Impossible? Why is it impossible? Apart from them, is there anyone else who can push Su Yujiao to such a degree? It seems to be. The lords were talking a lot, and they were all guessing who was so powerful, and they could make Su Yujiao and Lin You, who have the title of Enchanting Witch, suffer such a big loss. I can't imagine it. The vibration of the unreal world did not affect Lin You in the slightest. At this time, he had already passed through a large area of mountains and forests and came to a place deeper in the main plane of monsters. It was an endless desert. The reason why he chose this place was not that Lin You wanted to challenge the survivability of plant troops, but because this range is completely desert. He found that from a distance of almost 500 kilometers from the entrance to the plain, all the environment began to change to the desert. It was as if a desert ring was formed in the entire outer area, extending from where he was to the other borders on both sides until the end of the line of sight. If you want to go further, you have to pass through the desert area. Vaguely, you can even see several groups of figures fighting against the monsters in the desert. I don't know what tier of lords they are. In the sky above the desert, there are also various tornado storms that roll up pieces of yellow sand into the sky. Lin You didn't dare to care so much, and immediately let the Demon King Dragon land on the edge of the desert. Then summoned some plants to defend themselves. Originally, he did not intend to come to such a deep place at first. But after turning around in the outermost area, I found that almost the entire range of monsters had been wiped out by the lords who poured in from all areas. Not a single hair is left. And if you stay in the outermost area, the chance of encountering other lords will also be greatly increased. 1 or 2 is fine. If you encounter 5 or 6 or even a dozen, it will be very troublesome. There is no way to concentrate on hunting monsters. Come on, let's have a look first. Lin You sat on the branch on Qinggong's head and headed straight for the desert. In places like this, where the ground is dry and prone to quicksand, Qinggong's huge body is most suitable for rushing on the road, so there is no need to worry about sinking too deep. In the sky, the plant dragon is in charge of the investigation, and the mushroom demon king is still on his back, ready to support at any time. It was beyond Lin Yu's expectations. In the dry and harsh environment that this plant does not like, his cactus troops are extremely active, and they are not affected by the environment at all. Even the attributes are about 5% higher than usual, and it can easily walk on the sand. Is it a hidden attribute? Lin Yu's eyes lit up. He knew that cactus could grow in deserts. I just didn't expect this extra effect. Without thinking too much, I immediately summoned all the more than 20 cactus troops in the territory and checked them one by one. Sure enough, the attributes have been improved. Not much, but a big plus for other plants. So Lin You left all the cactus boxers behind, and continued on his way with a few royal arms. Along the way, he deliberately avoided the location where the other lords had just been discovered, and chose a safer route to move forward. After walking for more than 10 minutes under the scorching sun, on a piece of sand not far from him, there was a sudden boom. A large sandworm resembling a prehistoric beast rushed out of the sand and quickly approached him with the surging yellow sand. On the side, there are also small sandworms of 5 or 6 meters long, shuttling between the sand. Name: Sandworm King, Leader. Race: Animal. Level: Level 8, Level A. Strength: 2,500 plus 1,750. Physique: 2,200 plus 1,540. Agility, 2500 plus 1750. Spirit, 2200 plus 1540. Skills, Quicksand, Sandstorm, Hide. Chaos, all attributes increased by 70%. Introduction. Creatures living in desert areas can travel freely in the sand, very fast, and rely on the sand to hide their breath. Sandworm and arthropod. I didn't expect that after becoming a monster, the body would become so big, and even a leader monster grew. Looking at the scale, I am afraid there are hundreds of them, and all of them have reached the 8th rank. Plus an 8th order leader. It is basically impossible for ordinary 7th order lords to cross this desert. Sure enough, the deeper you go, the more dangerous it is. Go and get rid of them. Seeing that the swarm of sandworms was getting closer, Lin You didn't hesitate to give orders to the plants directly. The moment the sound fell, the most powerful cactus boxer rushed out first, like an arrow from a string, rushing towards the army of sandworms. Boom! The sand exploded suddenly. The huge sandworm king rushed out of the sand, forced the approaching cactus out, and went straight to Lin You with his mouth wide open, apparently attracted by his flesh and blood aura. But next second, Qin Gang, who was beside Lin You, had already gone straight to meet him, holding the sandworm king's fangs with both hands. The huge impact and inertia directly pulled Qin Gangshan away several meters away, and the soles of his feet were deeply immersed in the sand. As soon as he stabilized his body, he suddenly exerted force and took advantage of the momentum to pull up. It actually pulled the entire huge body of the sandworm king out of the sand and threw it behind him. Boom! The earth trembled, and the yellow sand rose to the sky. On the originally flat desert, a large bunker was blasted directly, causing the eardrums to shake violently. Just as the sandworm king, who was hit hard, wanted to get up, the Lingxi, flying in the sky, had already waved his staff and exploded with the power of nature. In an instant, countless thorns rushed out of the sand pit, and with a poof, they instantly penetrated the sandworm king's body, causing it to twist frantically. Far away. Gu Kai. The rejuvenated cactus boxer has also met the army of sandworms. With his extraordinary evasion ability and fighting awareness, he moved left and right to dodge quickly. With one punch, the ordinary sandworms flew out and fell to the side. In just a few moments, more than a dozen sandworms have been solved. It seems that it is easy to handle, and it is not at a disadvantage because of the difference in quantity. And at this moment, the Mushroom Demon King in the sky finally made his move. He threw the monster from the sky and landed precisely in the sandworm swarm. Boom boom dash. A series of violent explosions directly smashed large swathes of sandworms into mashed meat. Kill the 8th order monster and get 1000 magic energy. Kill the 8th order monster and get 998 magic energy. Kill the 8th order monster and gain 1012 points of magic energy. In Lin Yu's mind, the prompt to kill kept ringing. It was only then that he realized that several of his royal arms had experience in killing 8th order monsters. Immediately through the spiritual connection, summon the forest sages to your side and give them experience bonuses. After all, the experience of the arms increases, and the attributes will also increase. Although the main attributes of the royal arms have basically reached their full value, other attributes can still be improved, and it is a little bit stronger. The reason why the old lords are stronger than the new lords is that the accumulation of treasures and arms is relatively deep. One of the important reasons is because of the high experience of the arms. Once the experience increases, the basic attributes will also increase, closer to the full value of the same rank, which is much stronger than the newly recruited troops. Coupled with the blessing of the halo and treasures, the gap is even greater. Exactly, you can take this opportunity to train and level up the arms. I had no experience in killing tier 7 troops, because I was only in the 7th order secret realm before. Lin Yu's royal arms basically rely on forest sages and ancient knowledge trees, plus experience. It has been more than a month since the last Wanjia battlefield. The most experienced Qingting is only in his early 1000s, which is a bit far from the full value of 5,000 points. Seeing that there are so many 8th order monsters in this desert, how can it be wasted? After thinking about it for a while, he summoned the willow again to give the troops a halo buff. In an instant, the aura of the troops became even more fierce, and they frantically killed the remaining sandworms. Only 5 or 6 minutes. Hundreds of sandworms were wiped out, and the Sandworm King died under the combined attack of Lin You and Qing Gang. Okay? Suddenly, Lin You, who was processing the corpse collection materials, noticed a light under the insect killer and was stunned for a moment. This wild lord monster has a chance to explode? Lin You was inexplicably surprised, and hurriedly ran over to pick up the light. As he thought, it was a broken sheepskin scroll. Open it up and take a look. Desert Temple Map, shards a map that records the road to the Desert Temple. Because of its energy content, it was swallowed by sandworms and shattered into countless fragments. After collecting 100 of them, the large-scale Team Secret Realm and the entrance to the Desert Temple can be opened. Large Team Secret Realm? Lin You looked at the above introduction in surprise. If he remembers correctly, the secret realm of the floating island seems to be a personal secret realm, right? Or should I say the secret realm of the squad? Because not many people can enter at one time. Since this is called a large team secret realm, the rewards must be very rich, and the difficulty must be not low. Forget it, keep it for now. Lin You looked at the requirement to open the entrance to the secret realm. It took 100 fragments, and all of them were eaten by monsters. To collect them was like looking for a needle in a haystack. No wonder he hadn't heard anyone talking about it. When those lords saw this opening condition, they all gave up, right? After collecting the debris, Lin You continued on the road with the plants. In this way, we go all the way to clear the monsters. Until 2 hours later. He finally cleared the 6th wave of sandworm swarms, and collected 3 fragments. But just as he was about to move on, he suddenly encountered a sandstorm. Fortunately, he reacted in time and asked the plants to dig a sand pit and weave a circular space with vines, before successfully hiding. But what he never expected was. Just as the sandstorm passed, he crawled out of the bunker. In the distance less than 2 kilometers away from him, a black light with a powerful aura suddenly shot up into the sky and appeared on the desert. That's it. Lord Monster? Lin Yu's spirit was shocked, and his footsteps stopped instantly. The black light is smaller than the demon projection, and it is not so exaggerated. He estimates that it can only be seen within 100 miles nearby. If it is really a lord monster, then he can make a lot of money. How dare you think too much, and immediately gave an order to the plants around you, go, come and have a look. The sound fell, and the plant legion suddenly accelerated and hurried towards the direction of the black light. At the same time, the other lords who were exploring all over the desert also discovered the appearance of the black light, and they were all excited. Haha, the lord monster, it's so close to me, it's God's help. Hurry up, we will also go there, and we must not let others take the lead. Looking at it like this, it should be an ordinary lord other than the demon projection, and the strength will not be too strong, so let's hurry up. There are lord monsters in the desert area. Go. The lords of all realms, all left what they were doing, poured into the desert from all directions, and rushed towards the lord's monster. They all want to be one step ahead of others and grab the lord monster's kill. But they don't know. At this time, near the beam of light, a figure had already arrived and observed it from a distance. With the advantage of being close, Lin You quickly rushed to the vicinity of the beam of light. A huge bunker there. Under the shroud of a piece of yellow sand, a huge black-red scorpion crawled out from the bottom of the sand pit, surrounded by a terrifying black gas. In the pothole on the side, a large number of black scorpions emerged, occupying almost the entire sand pit, and it looked very terrifying. Name, Earth-Fire Black Scorpion, Lord. Race, Animal. Level, Level 8, Level A. Strength, 4,100 plus 2,870. Physique, 4,000 plus 2,800. Agility, 4,500 plus 3,150. Spirit, 4,200 plus 2,940. Skills, Underground Raid, Sand Burial, Ground Fire Spread. Chaos, all attributes increased by 70%. Introduction, creatures living in desert areas mutate due to swallowing a large amount of ground fire, attacking with poisonous fire damage and extremely strong adhesion. Fortunately, it's just a rank A Lord monster. And the attributes are lower than the same level of demon projection. If it was S rank or above, Lin You estimated that he would have to consider waiting for other lords to arrive before looking for a chance to start, but now it was different. Before the other lords arrived, he had to get rid of this lord monster. In this way, he can swallow all the treasures and essence. After thinking about it, he immediately waved his hand, summoned all the plants, and slowly approached the sand pit. Immediately, the ordinary black scorpions scattered all around found them, and immediately turned into a black tide, rushing towards them wrestling. The grand scene made people shudder when they saw it. Go, clean them up first. With an order, the ancient tree army rushed to the front, blocking all the black scorpions, and then the war trampled and swept thousands of troops, blasting the black scorpions out. Not to be outdone, the black scorpions raised their tails one by one. Whoosh! 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 Large pieces of venom shot out from their tails, turned into black rain, and fell on the ancient trees, making a sizzling sound, which directly corroded the holes. Group therapy! Lin You calmly shouted to the goblin army behind. The next second, the green light diffused, wrapped around the bodies of those ancient trees, and began to repair their injuries. The other plants in the back were not idle either, and the vines spread rapidly around the sand, and slammed into the black scorpions that rushed up. In the sky, large pieces of mushrooms were also thrown down. The explosions continued one after another, blasting huge deep pits in the desert, blasting all the black scorpions behind them. Even the entire edge of the bunker was enveloped by the poisonous gas blasted by various poisonous mushrooms. Coupled with the addition of the 3 poisonous mists of banshee vine, it completely blocked the line of sight and looked gray. It's just that the black scorpion is a very poisonous creature, so it is not affected by the poisonous gas. On the contrary, one by one seems to be stimulated, and their actions are even more swift. Gradually, traces of fire began to appear under their feet, and more. Wherever he went, there would even be flames left behind, burning roaringly on the sand, forming one piece. Not good. Go back. Lin Yu's expression changed. He reacted immediately, and hurriedly issued an order to retreat. But still a step too late. Boom. A deafening bang. The strong poisonous gas was ignited directly under the burning of the flame. The entire range of poisonous gas burst into flames and exploded suddenly. Those proliferating arms that were unable to retreat were instantly blown up to ashes. Even the troops with symbiotic moss on their bodies were blasted out, and their bodies were severely injured. Quick! Treat them quickly! Lin You shouted hurriedly. These proliferating entities are very precious. The other divisions can repopulate when they are gone. But this proliferating body is really gone, and it has to spend a lot of resources to recruit again, and even the experience that has just been accumulated will be wasted. Fortunately, at the center of the explosion were basically ancient tree troops with thick skin and flesh, and cactus boxers who were extremely agile and not afraid of flames. Although a lot of people were seriously injured, they saved a life. After a simple treatment to stabilize the injury, Lin You recalled the wounded to the territory to recuperate, and then led other ancient tree troops top. And the movement just now finally caught the attention of the Scorpion King in the center of the bunker. With a roar in the sky, he rushed towards them with the remaining black scorpion army. The number is huge, nearly 700. And there are 700 8th Order A levels. There is even a Lord monster in the middle. This is much more terrifying than the monsters in the 7th Order Secret Realm. Lin You didn't dare to be careless, and directly let Qing Gang start the barbaric roar. In the next second, the red light diffused, and the proliferating arms around him suddenly raised the momentum, and finally crossed the 8th order peak and overwhelmed the Black Scorpion army. Including the undead flowers that had just been reborn, they were basically evenly matched in number, and they collided fiercely with the Black Scorpions rushing in front. Boom! A blast. The cannon wrapped around Qingting took the lead, and the fatal sniper directly targeted the Scorpion King rushing over. The bullet surrounded by dragon flames pierced the air, and with a swish, it swept over the heads of all the plants, and exploded on the top of the Black Scorpion King's head, spilling a large amount of green blood. Under the pain, the Black Scorpion King roared again and again, let out bursts of harsh howls, and then rushed towards them with the sound of roaring footsteps as if going mad. Wherever he went, the flames were raging. Even those ordinary black scorpions had to make way. Not even dead? Gu Ping. Lin You was shocked. The vitality of this lord monster is really not comparable to that of ordinary monsters. Even if it is hit by the powerful blow of the cannon, it is only a heavy injury. It seems that being bigger is also a big advantage. Seeing that the Black Scorpion King had come to him, he immediately issued an order to Qingting beside him. Qingting, entangle. The sound fell, and the giant vines had already passed through the ground, rushing out at the feet of the Black Scorpion King, tying it to the spot, and the rushing footsteps also stopped. Attack. In an instant. The attack from the sky fell, and it continued to explode on the Black Scorpion King. The Black Scorpion King struggled frantically, and that powerful force actually broke the vines of the green vines and got up quickly. Immediately afterwards, there was a sudden boom around it, and a large-scale collapse occurred. Those closest proliferating troops and the 3 main bodies couldn't react in time, and were instantly buried in the sand pit. In just a few breaths, the connection between Lin You and them was completely cut off. Died. Lin Yu's face was solemn. Lord-level monsters are really not easy to deal with. And just when he was looking for the Black Scorpion King's whereabouts, he suddenly had a warning in his heart and stormed out like a sharp arrow. Boom! A huge black shadow rose into the sky, carrying yellow sand all over the sky. Even if Lin You responded in time, he was still shaken by the terrifying aftermath and fell onto the sand dozens of meters away. Along with the surrounding plants, they were also forced to retreat. But because of this, the Black Scorpion King was completely surrounded by plants. Good chance. Get it under control. Whoosh whoosh. A large piece of vine appeared, tying the Black Scorpion King's feet and tail. Qingting quickly wrapped around its body and pressed it to the ground. After the ancient tree army temporarily blocked the Black Scorpion army outside, Lin You immediately gave orders to the other plants, and they turned the fire one after another, and launched a violent attack on the Black Scorpion King again, shattering the hard carapace on its body, and the mushroom army in the sky also dropped a lot of mushrooms. But this time, they weren't throwing exploding mushrooms. Instead, the various highly poisonous plague mushrooms that were thrown continued to explode around the Black Scorpion King, creating a thick poisonous mist. Even those banshee vines bloomed the flowers above their heads, spraying a large amount of poisonous mist. Together with the dandelion floating in the air, it floated around the Black Scorpion King, forming a poisonous mist that was several times stronger than before. Until then, the barbaric roaring state on them disappeared. However, Lin You was not worried. Because he has noticed that a fire has begun to emerge from the body of the Black Scorpion King. Retreat! Lin You shouted, and immediately took the plants to retreat in a hurry, and the shackles tied to the Black Scorpion King were also released. Next second. Boom! With a loud noise, the entire desert shook violently. The monstrous power turned into a tyrannical wave that suddenly exploded in a sky of fire, setting off a terrifying gust of wind in the desert. Together with the army of black scorpions that were attacking, they were all thrown out and buried under the sand. Fortunately, Lin You was already prepared and recalled all the plants to the territory, so that they were not affected. When he got up from the sand, a reminder sounded in his mind. Congratulations, you successfully killed the 8th Order Lord Monster and obtained 100,000 mana. under the double trauma of deadly sniping and gas explosion. The arrogant Black Scorpion King was finally successfully killed. At the moment when the prompt sounded, the terrifying deep pit that was blasted out also lit up with bright lights. Lin You was so excited, he quickly got up from the sand and ran to the deep pit. Then I saw 2 treasures, and 8 territorial essences lying quietly in the pit. Among them, 1 of the 8th order and 7 of the 7th order. There is also 1 less treasure. In this way, the number of treasures and territorial essences should be linked to the chaos level of monsters. The previous S-level Lord monsters exploded 3 treasures, but this A level only has 2, which seems to be a watershed every 3 levels. But even so, Lin You was still very excited. He jumped into the deep pit in a hurry, picked up everything, and patted off the dust on it. Quick! Right there, I heard movement just now. It seems that someone has already fought with the Lord monster. Go there and see. Suddenly, several hurried shouts came from a distance, interrupting Lin Yu's actions to check the treasure information. With a condensed expression on his face, he immediately put away the treasure. He glanced around, put away the Black Scorpion King still intact, front breast carapace and tail barb, summoned the Demon King Dragon, suddenly flew out of the deep pit, and swept in the other direction. Although he is not afraid of things, he does not want to cause too much trouble. Besides, the movement from the Lord monster just now was so big, many lords must have been attracted. Better to go first. Sure enough, not long after he left, several imposing 7th order lords appeared nearby, and finally found the traces of the battle here, and the corpses all over the ground. When they saw the terrifying deep pit that was blasted out, and the Black Scorpion King's body lying inside, the eyes of several people suddenly widened, and their faces were shocked. This is the corpse of the Lord monster. How is that possible? It's only less than 5 minutes. Who is to solve the Lord monster in such a short time? Is it the 8th order Lord? The 8th order Lord may not be able to be so fast, right? It's a pity, no matter how they guess. At this time, Lin You had already been riding the Demon King Long to fly away and slip away. After avoiding several groups of lords, he finally left the area and flew to another direction. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. After flying for about 10 minutes, after confirming safety, Lin You, who was riding on the back of the Demon King Dragon, landed on a hidden sand dune, took out the 2 treasures he just got, and checked it. It surprised him very much. Among the 2 treasures, none of them are military secret treasures. Instead, it is a military token with a scorpion graphic, and a territorial relic with half purple and half red. Lin You first picked up the token and looked at it. At the same time, an information interface also appeared in front of him. Army token, Earth Fire Black Scorpion, Beast type. Army level, 7th rank. Introduction: after use, you can unlock the Beast type Earth Fire Black Scorpion unit. Use requirements: 7th order territory, 25,000 magic energy. It was not what he expected. This is the same beast type unit as the Black Scorpion King. In terms of combat power, it's still a pretty good weapon. The most important thing is that Lin You found that this unit was perfectly matched with the territorial relic on the side. Sacred artifact name, Poisonous Fire Liao Yuan, beast type, level 1, poison attribute attack plus 5%, fire attribute attack plus 5%. Level 2, poison attribute attack plus 5%, fire attribute attack plus 5%. Level 3, unlocked poison attribute attack plus 5%, fire attribute attack plus 5%. Level 4, unlocked territory skill poison fire incarnation. Incarnation of poison fire, active. The poison attribute and the fire attribute are regarded as the same attribute within 30 seconds, and the cooling time is 15 minutes. Characteristics: within the territory, all friendly units have poison attribute attack plus 10%, fire attribute attack plus 10%, and increase with the level of faith. Introduction to Holy Relics: pray for holy relics to get the effect of territorial blessing, which lasts for 1 day, and gives extra bonuses to troops. The Earth-Fire Black Scorpion has both poison and fire attributes at the same time. It is simply tailor-made for the sacred relics of this territory. When the belief level is raised to the 4th level, that is, the 9th level, you can still comprehend a territorial skill. Poison Fire Incarnate. Poison and fire are considered the same. That is to say, when using one of these attacks, you will also gain another attribute bonus, which is double the Holy Relic bonus. It can be regarded as a very good explosive skill. At that time, the price will definitely be higher when they are packaged and sold together. However, he is not lacking in magic energy now, so he mainly wants to see if he can replace it with something that can be used by plants. It is naturally the best to replace it with a secret treasure. Thought here. Lin You immediately put away the token and treasure, and looked at the resource interface. The magic energy has risen to 16.5 million, and the progress of the source has also exceeded 1/3, reaching the level of 35%. If you keep going at this rate, you should be able to accumulate the full value very quickly. When he obtained this natural source, he gave down the gift of the Mother Nature, although he still didn't understand what that meant. But no matter how you think about it, it's definitely not easy. Or his natural origin is actually different from the origin of other lords? If that's the case, he'd probably have to ask more about it. There is also the natural gift mark on his body, which can only be deciphered in the capital of the Elf Empire. I don't know what information is hidden in it. Lin You raised his right hand, silently looking at the leaf mark on the back of his hand, and fell into contemplation. After a while, a cool breeze blew, interrupted his thoughts. Lin You raised his head and looked at the sky, and found that the red sun had gradually set in the west, and it was not far from the evening. Looks like I can only get here today. Originally, he thought that he would be able to cross the desert in one go today. It turned out that this desert area was much larger than he thought. Seeing that the temperature around him began to drop, he knew that he couldn't stay here any longer. Otherwise, if you spend the night in the desert, you will be very cold and uncomfortable, and you may encounter danger at any time. Think about it. He rode the Demon King Dragon again and rushed back towards the entrance of the plain. Until dark. He finally returned to the sanctuary and teleported back to the territory. As soon as he stood still, he immediately received 4 private messages, which appeared on his chat interface. Brother Lin You, the airship has arrived safely. The airship has arrived, ready to return tomorrow. The airship arrived, safe and sound. Haha, Brother Lin, I received the airship. Lin You looked surprised. These messages turned out to be messages from the lords who opened the route with him. Looking at the time, it was basically distributed in the evening, and it took about 10 hours. And the magic airship loaded with extra thrusters has a maximum speed of more than 300 per hour, which is equivalent to a journey of about 3,000 kilometers. This is only the straight line distance from the border to the central area of the principality. If you want to pass through the entire principality, I am afraid that it will have to be doubled or tripled. It seemed that the Great Wilderness Principality was much bigger than he imagined. This is only the smallest principality. Gu Qian. I really don't know how big the kingdom is, and how many lords are in it. Lin You couldn't help but be amazed, and replied to the 4 lords one by one at the same time. As for the rest of Zone Lei, because it is the strongest and closest to the center of the principality, it takes a little more time. Sure enough, around 8 or 9 in the evening, Zone Lei finally sent a message saying that the airship arrived safely. At this point, the 5 routes through the principality have been successfully opened, which made Lin You finally breathe a sigh of relief. After chatting a few words with a few people, and after binding the healing artifact he got today with the flower essence branch, he came under the world tree and rested while eating. Ah, the explosion rate of the secret realm is so low. I brushed it 5 times, and I didn't even reveal a single weapon treasure. I figured it out 5 times? I swiped it 8 times and I got an arm token, which was not worth the ticket fee. It was a loss. You all figure it out. I finally got the blueprints of the arms base today, and there is still no sign of the secret treasure. It's too difficult. I went to the monster plain for a walk today. As a result, there are a lot of lords around each lord monster, and I can't grab anything at all. Didn't the lord monster go and touch it? Can a 100,000 magic be subsistence allowance, doghead? Haha, I also touch and run. One message after another, constantly swiping in the regional chat. Probably because of the large number of lord monsters appearing today, the 7th and 8th order lords who rarely speak on weekdays have also appeared one after another, chatting about their experiences today, or complaining about the difficulty of territorial promotion. When those new lords who had just arrived saw so many bigwigs speaking, they shivered and dared not speak. In the end, it turned into a complaint meeting, and it was unkind to stand up and spray the system one by one, and not many treasures. But I seem to have heard that this morning, Yen Lai and Situ Jian fought with a few lords in Wuxangji. At this time, another message popped up, taking the topic aside. As soon as these words came out, the lords immediately talked about it. Yen Lai and Situ Jian? Are they the two on the top of the secret realm standings? Yes, it is them. It is said that their strength can be ranked in the top 10 even in the 7th order of the entire continent. Hi. Top 10? There is indeed such a thing. I heard a lot of people say it, and not only them, but also a very powerful plant lord. Lord of the plant department? Could it be Lin You, who is 3rd in the standings? The topic of the lords went further and further, and finally it gradually came to Lin You. Then they were surprised to find out. The Great Wilderness Principality also has a 7th order lord of the plant system, called Lin You. This time, the lords were completely fried, and they were even in shock, guessing whether it was the same person. To know. Yen Lai and Situ Jian have a long-standing reputation in the sanctuary and are known by countless people. To be able to keep pace with these two people, at least they should be an old lord. No matter how you think about it, it is unlikely that they come from a small principality like them. So soon, they rejected the speculation, and only a few people were still skeptical. For example, the lords of several cities around Huangsha City, and the 5 lords who opened air routes with Huangsha City. Because they all had personal contact with Lin You. Could it really be him? Inside Futaba Castle, Mang Qinggan sat in the hall of the city master with a solemn expression. Unlike other lords, since the last negotiation, he has had many contacts between Futaba City and Huangsha City. Therefore, we have a very good understanding of the development momentum of Huangsha City. In just 1 month after the end of the Battle of 10,000 Worlds, the population of the territory expanded from 10,000 to more than 100,000. There is also a 9th order practitioner guarding the territory. That is a 9th order cultivator. When his subordinates reported the news before, even he was shocked. A 7th order lord can actually invite 9th order practitioners to guard the territory? You told him that this was a lord's territory that had just been upgraded to the 7th level, and he couldn't believe it at all. But even if he didn't believe it, the fact was still in front of him, and he had to believe it. This Lin You is really likely to be the Lin You that everyone is talking about, that terrifying existence that can keep pace with the top 10 on the mainland. Come on. Thinking of this, Mang Qinggan immediately shouted out the door. After a while, a man on standby hurried into the hall. Go, ask the general manager to prepare, pack the food that has been purchased in the past few days, and send someone to Huangsha City tomorrow morning. Lord, didn't you say you want to keep half of it? The subordinate asked in confusion. It's okay, just send it all to Huangsha City. Anyway, they are also buying a lot of food recently and giving them the lowest price. That is to say, they are doing their neighbor's friendship. Okay, subordinates will do it now. With a sigh of resignation, the subordinates left directly. After watching him go out, Mang Qinggan finally breathed a sigh of relief and clicked on the private chat interface to connect with other lords. Old Zhang, about the last grain purchase, I want to talk to you again. Lin You, who stayed in the territory, naturally saw the discussions of the lords. But he didn't care, and he didn't have many psychological fluctuations. Anyway, the principality is not shown on the list, and there is no way for these people to be sure that it is him, just on a whim. It is estimated that when the list is reset next month, few people can remember him. After all, the most indispensable thing in this world is the Lord. Early the next morning, as soon as the sky dawned, Lin You got up as usual and went to arrange contact with Shui Changgue and the others for the magic airship. Then I went to the dwarf tribe again, and handed over the 8th Order materials collected yesterday to McGun, and asked them to help make it into equipment. However, Lin You did not intend to sell the first batch of equipment. Instead, it was prepared to arm the team of practitioners in the city. In particular, the caravan guards who are responsible for protecting the safety of the route must have a set of 8th Order equipment. After all, it is impossible for him to always send heroes and troops to him. So soon, he found Wei Gang and asked him to inform the cultivators below. Anyone who has reached the 7th rank and has worked for Huangsha City for more than a month can sign up to join the airline guard and directly receive a set of 8th rank equipment. 2K novel. Those who have just joined Huangsha City can also use the life card to guarantee the registration, and they will be returned after passing the test 1 month later. Lord, is what you said true? Outside the training ground, Wei Gang stared at Lin You in disbelief. A set of equipment made by the dwarves, even he was very moved. Although he already has a set of 8th Order equipment that Lin You gave him before, it is not too much. What's more, it's a whole set. He can guarantee that as long as he goes back and spreads the news, the cultivators under his hands will definitely go crazy with excitement. Lin You didn't know what he was thinking. He smiled and said, "Okay, you don't have to be envious. If you want to, then go to the dwarves to help you build a set. It's a time for you to train hard." Reward real? Wei Gang was shocked and excited. "Thank you, Lord. Okay, let's go get things done first, preferably before tomorrow." "Yes." Guaranteed to complete the task. Wei Gang's body tensed up instantly. When Lin You turned to leave, and after walking away, the cultivators who were hiding and eavesdropping finally couldn't bear it any longer, and immediately rushed up to surround Wei Gang. "Commander, what did the Lord just tell you? You seem very excited. Is something big going to happen? I seem to have heard the Lord mention some equipment just now." A group of people were talking all over the place, surrounding Wei Gang in the middle. Many of them have reached the 7th level. Some of them were promoted by the blessing of the training grounds, and some of them had just joined Huangsha City recently and worked under Wei Gang's hands. Basically, it can be said that it is the backbone of the current guard of Huangsha City. In the face of their inquiries, Wei Gang did not betray, and directly revealed everything that Lin You had just explained. As soon as the words were finished, the crowd suddenly exploded. "Commander, is what you said true? Can you really get a set of Tier 8 equipment? Did your Lord really say that just now? Haha, that's great. I've just risen to the 7th rank, and I'm missing a set of equipment. Quick! Commander, help me sign up, I'm going. I've had enough for a month, so help me sign up too. Go. I estimate that it will take a few days before I can reach the 7th level. No, I have to go to the training ground to retreat. Wait for me, I'll go too." The cultivators exclaimed again and again, some were happy and some were worried. "The joy is because I fully meet the registration requirements, and I am glad that I played in Huangsha City early. The worry is that there is still a little gap from the 7th rank, the strength is not up to the standard, or they have just joined Huangsha City. However, after thinking about it, there are still many people who are willing to use their fate as a guarantee in exchange for this opportunity to sign up. After all, a set of 8th Order equipment built by the dwarves, this temptation is too great for them. As long as you can get it, you can have a chance to fight even an 8th Order monster. Enough to make their hearts beat hard. And not long after, the news of Lin You recruiting a large number of practitioners above the 7th rank and forming a team spread like a hurricane throughout Huangsha City, causing an uproar. As long as you join the team, you can directly get a set of Tier 8 equipment. Is this too exaggerated? Is this news true? It's true, the square is full of signs, and many people ran over to see it. Hey! What a great handwriting! Let's go. Let's go over there and have a look. I'm afraid there won't be even a spot if we go late. Whether it was the residents of Huangsha City or the foreigners who had just arrived in Huangsha City, they were all shocked by the sudden news. One by one, they left what they were doing and hurried to the central square. Even on the street, there are cultivators who call friends and rush to sign up. This grand occasion immediately caused a few Futaba City representatives who had just arrived with the food to be stunned and extremely shocked. Because just now, they also heard the comments on the side, and learned that Huangsha City was recruiting cultivators. Gollum. The head of Futaba Castle, who led the team, couldn't help swallowing. 8th Order equipment, even in their entire Futaba City, can't find a few sets. But in this Yellow Sand City, it is directly used to recruit subordinates? This is too extravagant. Not to mention those scattered practitioners. Even if they belonged to Futaba City, they couldn't help but want to run to sign up, and they started talking in private. Cough cough. The director of Futaba City coughed twice, interrupting their fantasy. Let's go ahead and talk later, remember to be polite later. After he finished speaking, he brought the grain transport team into the city and slowly drove towards the city. Then it didn't take long for Lin You, who had returned to the territory, to receive the news that a large amount of food was sent from Futaba City. You said they shipped 500,000 caddies of grain directly to us? Lin You, who was recruiting troops, raised his head and looked at Su Zhong, who came to report in surprise. 500,000 caddies of grain is not a small amount, enough for the people in his city to eat for a while, and it can solve the problem of food shortage caused by the recent population growth. Yes. Su Zhong on the side replied respectfully. Not only did they bring 500,000 caddies of grain, but they also gave us the lowest price, saying it was to deepen the friendship between the two cities. Oh? This Manhwa is a bit interesting. Lin You slowly got up, a smile appeared on his face. The most basic resources like food are also the most related to the development of the territory. It is too late for others to plant them. It's really bloody, but since the other party did him a big favor, he naturally couldn't let the other party suffer in vain. After thinking about it for a while, he said, in this case, go back and tell the messenger of Futaba City. I can sell some 7th or 8th Order equipment to them in the future. Let Director Shui discuss the details with them. Okay, I'll tell you right away. With a word of resignation, Su Zhong left the territory directly. The other side. After discussing the matter with Shui Changgue, the director of Futaba City quickly brought the news back to Manhwa. What did you say? He really said he could sell some equipment to us. Hearing the report, Manhwa, who was sitting in the chair, stood up abruptly with a look of ecstasy on his face. As early as a few months ago, when he personally visited Huangsha City, he expressed his intention to buy dwarf equipment from Lin You. It's a pity that Lin You did not agree at that time. I didn't expect to agree today, and it's still extremely precious equipment of the 7th and 8th orders. Okay, you did a great job. Manhwa sat down, clutching the armrest of the chair tightly with his palms, and then got up again, his excitement beyond words. He is only a 6th Order territory now. If he can get those 7th Order or even 8th Order equipment, it will undoubtedly be a huge improvement for him. At least it can greatly improve his survival rate in the next Wanjia battlefield. In the long run, he can also use these equipment to recruit his subordinates, or obtain other resources, which is absolutely beneficial to the improvement of his territory. His batch of food was indeed delivered right. He couldn't help crying out for his wise decision. Secret Sanctuary. The main island of the floating archipelago. After spending more than 1 million mana to make up for the lost units, Lin You came here again, ready to collect more Tier 8 materials. After all, he opened so many routes at once, and the number of manpower needed is not a small number. Naturally, the more materials, the better. However, before setting off to the main plane of monsters, he took some time to set up a booth on the platform, put the token and sacred relics of the beast type that he had just obtained, and marked it as only for exchange and not for sale. Then I just sat aside and started to organize the things in my personal space. After upgrading to the 7th level, the capacity of the personal space has been increased from the original 250 units to 500 units. Carcasses for 50 medium beasts are no problem at all. But now he basically only has some daily necessities and all kinds of messy tools, and unknowingly, he has piled up dozens of space units. There are even a lot of things that were left in the past and are not used now, such as twine, flint, tree wax, fur coats, and the like. Sort them out first, then dispose of them or destroy them when the time comes to free up space. There is no place to put the building materials when you can save it, and you have to make a few more trips. Just like this, while arranging and waiting, several lords soon passed by his booth and were attracted by the two things on his booth. Huh? This unit is actually matched with the territorial relic? It's true, and the effect of the sacred artifact in this territory is very strong. Each level can increase the damage of 2 attributes by 5%. It actually comes with an explosive skill. The few lords let out bursts of low voices, all shocked by the attributes of the sacred object, the poisonous fire Liao Yuan. One of the beast lords was even more moved, staring intently at these two things. But he was a little hesitant, because there was nothing in him that could be exchanged. That. The beast lord called out softly. What's the matter? Interested in these two things? Lin You closed his personal space and looked up at the other party. The lord of the beast department hesitated for a moment and said, I don't have any treasures to exchange for, can you see this? Saying that, he took out a strange object from his personal space. This is. Lin You looked suspiciously at the thing in the other's hand. It was a strange scroll. There are no patterns or imprints drawn on it, and the emptiness looks like a blank sheet of paper. It's like a shoddy product that stops halfway through production. However, Lin You felt an unusual aura from above, not even inferior to the skill upgrade scroll he obtained on the battlefield of 10,000 realms. Surprised, he couldn't help but ask, where did this scroll come from? I got it by killing a strange monster in the main plane of monsters. A strange monster? Yeah. The beast lord nodded. That monster is not strong, but it is very cunning, and it seems to speak a strange language. It took me a lot of effort to solve it. He didn't hide anything, he said directly. It seems that he really wants the token and holy relic in Lin Yu's hands. Hearing this, Lin You couldn't help looking at the scroll. Prop, skill scroll, territory. Introduction. After use, you can comprehend the skill random teleportation. Random teleportation. Activate the power of the rules, randomly teleport to any location in the area. Instant. It turned out to be a teleportation territorial skill? Lin You was surprised. He knew the scarcity of territorial skills. Even now, he only has 3 skills, repatriation, forest domain, and mutation. Of course, he now has Godhead shards, and he can use arm skills in addition to territorial skills. These extra skills are nothing to him. What he valued was the effect of this skill. Randomly teleport to any location in the area, or instant cast. It is definitely a life-saving skill necessary to kill and escape, although the random position is somewhat uncomfortable. When encountering a strong enemy that cannot be resisted, or a natural disaster, you can use this skill to escape, and you can also cooperate with the peace field of the forest sage. Best of all, he can use it now. It is estimated that the other party is willing to take out such a good thing in exchange after seeing the condition of the power of rules above. After all, teleportation is a bit tasteless for lords above the 10th rank, and it cannot be used for lords below the 10th rank. Only a lord like him, who has mastered the power of rules before reaching the 10th rank, can be of great use. How about it? If this thing doesn't work, I'll add a troop token. Seeing Lin You frowning and bowing his head in deep thought, the lord of the beast department thought he was dissatisfied, and once again took out a weapon token from his personal space. Arms token, Mecha Gun Turtle, Mechanical System. Army level, 7th rank. Introduction. After use, you can unlock the beast-type Mecha Turtle troops. Use requirements: 7th Order territory, 25,000 magic energy. Okay, deal. Originally, Lin You was thinking about how to exchange it properly, but as a result, the other party came up with one more thing, which was a unit with strong remote output firepower from the mechanical system. Without hesitation, he directly agreed to the exchange. When the Beast Lord heard the words, he was overjoyed and immediately traded with him. After a while, the things in their hands were successfully exchanged, and they got what they wanted. Thank you. The Beast Lord was so excited that he felt that he had earned it. To use a skill that is completely useless to exchange for two such powerful treasures. You're welcome. Lin You also smiled and put away the two things. After that, he went back to the territory and used up the skill scroll. Do you want to use skill scroll, territory, use? Swish. Light flashed. The scroll in his hand turned into a streamer and merged into the world tree. When he opened the skill interface, he saw that there was an extra teleportation skill. But Lin You didn't dare to experiment casually. If one is bad, he will be sent directly to the other end of the duchy, and he will not know how long it will take to get back, and he may encounter various dangers. Only at the most critical time can the miraculous effect of this skill be exerted. I didn't expect to get such a powerful life-saving skill on this trip, which is really an unexpected joy. It just so happened that he planned to continue to go deep into the desert area today, so he no longer had to worry about what danger he might encounter. After thinking about it, Lin You teleported back to the floating islands again and rushed to the entrance of the plane. This time, he didn't stop at the entrance. As soon as he entered the main plane, he directly rode on the Demon King Dragon and flew to the depths of the plane. As before, go to that desert area and continue to hunt and kill Tier 8 monsters, collect building materials, and accumulate natural sources by the way. In a blink of an eye. 5 days passed. During this time, Lin You basically spends his time between the two places. Every day, it is not to check the recruitment of cultivators in Huangsha City, or to explore the depths of the desert and hunt monsters. Nothing noteworthy has happened, not even a Lord monster. Lin You couldn't help but wonder if all those monsters went on maternity leave. But what he didn't expect was that. This calm was suddenly broken when the 6th day came at noon. Lords, please note that the large-scale Team Secret Desert Temple is open. The temple is divided into multiple entrances, which are located in various directions in the desert area. Through the entrance, you can enter the interior of the temple, open the temple, and you can get various treasure rewards. The sudden reminder sounded in the minds of all the lords in the main plane of monsters. Immediately afterwards, there was a loud bang. The entire desert area suddenly vibrated violently, and together with the sky above, a large gust of wind began to roll up. What's the matter? What happened? It seems that the desert temple has been opened. Desert temple? That legend that has been circulating in the desert area? I remember it was the last time I turned it on. Which collecting madman was able to collect 100 fragments? Let's go. Let's go and see. All the lords who were exploring the Monster Master Plane were shocked by the sudden news. As long as you have explored the depths, you all know that there is a legend of a desert temple circulating in the desert area. It's just that few people have the patience to collect so many map fragments. Now that the desert temple is open again, the 7th Order lords suddenly called friends and hurried to the nearest entrance. Even some Tier 8 lords were attracted and joined the team on the road. For a while, the lords of thousands of realms gathered in the desert area, making the whole area lively. Lin You himself was in the desert. So soon found one of the temple entrances. A huge pyramid guarded by a human-faced sphinx is like a mountain, standing above the desert. Lin You remembered that there seemed to be no pyramids around here before, let alone the stone statues on the side. Did it just emerge from the ground? In other words, the temple is actually underground? Seeing that more and more lords were coming from all directions, he did not dare to hesitate, and immediately let the Demon King Dragon turn around and fly towards the huge square entrance at the bottom of the pyramid. The landing ground passes through the entrance, and the entrance is a spacious and magnificent passage. On the stone walls are all frescoes carved with tools, which are vivid under the light of torches, and are extremely similar to the pyramid culture in his impression. Even if someone told Lin You now that this place was once inhabited, he would believe it. But in the monster plane, why are there traces of ancient human existence? Lin You was puzzled. But when he heard the voices of other lords gradually coming from behind, he couldn't help but retract his gaze and speed up his steps to go deeper. Gradually, he realized that something was wrong. Because when he went through the passage and came outside, find yourself in a circular building similar to the Colosseum in ancient Rome. The building was so grand that he couldn't even see the opposite side at a glance. It was countless times bigger than the pyramid he had just seen. What's the situation? Lin You was dumbfounded. Didn't he go into the pyramid, or to the ground? How would it appear here? And there's even a sun in the sky, a golden sun that is different from the monster plane. He remembered that the sun on the monster plane was clearly red, and the sky was not so cloudless, it was transparent and bright. Huh? Isn't this Lin You? Are you here too? Suddenly, when Lin You was wondering, a familiar voice sounded behind him. When Lin You heard the words, he turned his head and saw Yan Lai and Situ Jian appear one after another and walked out of the passage. Next to them, there are many seventh-order lords who have walked out of the primitive world one after another, all of them looking at a loss. Why are you here too? Lin You asked in surprise. I heard that the large-scale secret realm is open, so I came to see it. Yan Lai shrugged, and then looked around. At this moment, many lords have appeared on the various exits around the arena. Densely arranged in the seating area of the entire arena, surrounded by transparent light curtains, one by one, forming a huge stand that extends out. Referred to as the auditorium. And above the stand where they were, the three big characters primitive world were shining. It seems that after passing through the entrance, the lords of each realm will be assigned together. Situ Jian's eyes were solemn, and he saw the doorway of this arena at a glance. Assigned by realm? When Lin You heard this, he couldn't help but look at the other stands next to him, and sure enough, there were completely different names hanging on them. And the Yuansha realm, the True Spirit realm, and the Wuxuan realm, which he knows well, are just on the left and right sides of them. Isn't this supposed to let all our realms compete in this arena, to get rewards? Lin You said with a strange expression. Competition? The competition is good, I'm worried about not having a chance to beat them up. Yan Lai's eyes brightened, and he looked excited. At this time, there were more and more lords in the stands, making the entire arena noisy and lively. There were bursts of exclamations on the side. What's the situation? Didn't I just walk into the pyramid? How could I be here? Fuck. Arena. Shouldn't we be PK in it? A lot of people. It seems that the lords of all fields are here. Look there. They are from the Eternal Realm. Eternal Realm? That big realm that can be ranked in the top 10 among all realms. There are also people from Chaos World. The light curtains around the stands only block the passage between various domains, but do not block the transmission of sound. Hearing the exclamations coming from all around, Lin Yu's eyes gradually became serious. According to what they mean, is there actually a distinction between the strengths and weaknesses of the various domains? If this is the case, then when Emperor Xingyao advanced, it should be true that he saw the expansion of the original continent. The more realms the emperor has, the stronger the strength and the wider the space. Naturally, the luck will also be stronger. Lin You didn't know how to understand such a mysterious thing like luck. It's just guessing that it is linked to the amount of resources in the realm, and it may affect the birth of geniuses and powerhouses, making it easier to breed talented people. This is a long accumulation. It does not necessarily mean that the lord of the great realm is stronger than the same rank. But the number must be more, and the comprehensive level is also higher. And Lin You also found a problem. That is the arrangement between the various realms on the entire field, which seems to be arranged according to the adjacent positions of the realms. Half of the venues they belonged to were mostly dominated by human lords. But when it stretched across the half to the opposite side, half-human lords began to appear gradually, such as various orcs, mermaids, and demi-humans. A small part further back, that is, on the opposite side of them. All of them are all kinds of strange races that have never been seen before. The only thing Lin You recognizes is the Naga, the Zerg, and the Eldar, which are still within the scope of cognition. It's no wonder that he rarely encounters lords other than the human race in the monster master plane. It turns out that the realm is too far away and there is no chance to contact. Damn it. Look at the spirit beast world opposite, there are actually several catgirls. And the demon venerable realm over there, if I'm not mistaken, those are the feathermen, right? So is the beauty snake over there. Ah, I really want to be haunted by her. Man can't, at least should. While XP is free, I still recommend you see a doctor. Doesn't anyone think that octopus girl over there is prettier? The exclamations and comments of other lords were uploaded, which interrupted Lin Yu's thoughts. It's just the exclamations of those lords that made him face black lines and dare not look directly. But immediately, an untimely voice suddenly came from the side. Yo, isn't this the original garbage? Why is it piled up today? The moment the voice sounded, everyone in the primordial realm suddenly sank and looked at the position of the primordial demon realm next to them. Which is spewing feces? With a fiery temper, he squeezed out of the crowd on the spot and came to the place where the two worlds meet. I saw a slender young man standing there in front of the team of Yuansha realm, with a bit of sarcasm hanging from the corner of his mouth. The words just now were probably from his mouth. Who am I supposed to be? It turns out to be the illegitimate son of the great Emperor Dongli. Why, the main city has just been destroyed and there is no place to squat and come here to spray? Yan Lai folded his arms around his chest and looked at each other with contempt. You. The charming young man's expression froze, and his eyes became gloomy. But immediately, he thought of something and changed a smile. Yan Lai, I heard that you seem to have been looking for your sister, and you haven't found it yet. Could it be that you have been played to death in some corner? What did you say? Boom. A strong evil spirit suddenly erupted on Yan Lai's body. In the glaring eyes, there was a bloodthirsty killing intent like an ancient beast. Even if it's just a couple of times. But Lin You didn't expect that Yan Lai's carefree temper would sometimes break out. With that terrifying power, even the lords on the primitive realm side were shocked and retreated, not daring to approach. Yan Lai, alright, you don't need to know this kind of person in general. Fortunately, at this time, Situ Jian came forward to hold Yan Lai. Yan Lai, who was on the verge of eruption, suddenly restrained his breath and snorted coldly. Ao Wenyu, don't let me touch you later. Anytime. After speaking, the two of them returned to their respective teams and ignored them. Lin Yu's eyes moved slightly. Ao Wenyu. It turns out that Emperor Dongli is Xing Ao? Ao Dongli really didn't have any momentum. Emperor Dongli, as the closest primordial emperor to their primordial realm, has no doubts about his strength. Otherwise, it is impossible to guard one side and block their invasion. What Lin You didn't know was that. Just when he focused on the original evil world. On the other side of the Wuxia realm, a pair of eyes stared straight at him. It's him. At the very edge of the platform, Lin Yan looked gloomy and stared at Lin You, who had his back turned to him. Even if he didn't see his face, he could recognize Lin You at once, and recognize this man who almost killed him. Even Su Yujiao, who was next to him, was attracted, with surprised expressions on their faces. I didn't expect them to come too. It seems that I have to be more careful later. It's too early to say this, we don't know what's going on in this secret realm. Really, many lords came because they heard a reminder that there were treasure rewards. However, how to obtain it and how to clear the secret realm is unknown. Even those lords who have entered a large secret realm have black eyes, because this is completely different from the secret realm they have seen before. So soon, the discussions of the lords gradually turned into doubts, and the lords on the platforms, from all walks of life, gathered more and more. It's just weird. Gumace. All who entered the field were 7th Order lords. It seems that the 8th Order lord has no way to enter here. And just half an hour later, after the lords reached a certain number, the gate above the entrance and exit finally crashed down. At the same time, several reminders sounded in the minds of all the lords. Lords, please note that the temple sacrifice is officially opened. By then, the venue will be divided into 3 major areas, with a total of 72 venues. Each field can enter 2 lords at the same time, and can only summon 1 unit to assist, until the enemy is killed or the enemy admits defeat. The winner's domain will accumulate 1 point. After 3 hours, they will be ranked according to the points. The top 10 domains will get rich rewards, and the rest will be distributed according to the number of points. Note that each lord has only 2 chances. Temple worship? Is that the name of this place? Lin Yu's expression moved slightly. It looks like a certain tribe is holding some kind of strange sacrifice. I was afraid that it wasn't because of the slaves who came to perform. Yan Lai on the side is more concerned about the rules of the secret realm, and his entire brows are wrinkled. What do you mean? Can you still admit defeat? When did the bird system become so kind? It's the first time I've heard of such a rule. Situ Jian said in surprise. The other lords were even more discussing. Under the influence of the rules of this world, their realms have never ceased to die, and I have never heard of such a benevolent person who could admit defeat. Although this would allow them to let go of their hands and feet, it also made them a little strange. Could it be that the rules of this monster's main plane are not the same as those in their respective realms? Unfortunately. Without giving them a chance to think too much, the entire huge circular field banged and was divided into 3 areas by several light curtains that suddenly appeared. In the 3 areas, it is divided into 24 venues. Even the environment inside began to change rapidly. Take a closer look. It was actually divided into 3 major areas: sea, land and air. The area is subdivided according to different environments. For example, there are forests, plains, and deserts in the land area. It seems that he wants the lords to choose the terrain that is beneficial to them. What should we do? Shall we go first? The other lords all looked at Yan Lai and Situ Jian. This rule obviously uses the realm as a team, and competes with their respective strongest arms and the lord's own strength. Among the lords present in the primitive world, the 2 of them are the most famous and the strongest, so they naturally become the backbone of everyone. Go. Why can't you get the reward? I'm afraid he will get a ball. I'll come first. Without any hesitation, Yan Lai walked directly into the teleportation array that had just appeared in the stands. Swish. Light flashed. He appeared in an area full of cracked earth. With a random move, he summoned a huge red-skinned orc, and a giant axe appeared in his hand. I saw him looking around, directly raising the giant axe in his hand, and arrogantly said, "Who is not afraid of death, come down and fight with Lao Tzu." Fuck. Too arrogant. Who the is this? How dare you go up first? Get out of the way. I'll go meet him. Hearing Yan Lai's provocative words, the lords of all realms instantly exploded. Immediately, many lords were teleported to the field, and white lights lit up on the field. Exactly as suggested. Only 2 people can enter each venue at a time, and only 1 unit can be summoned, in the form of a ring. Lin Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. If it is a competition for overall strength, he may not be able to beat the arrogance of the heavens and the world. But if it is to compete with the Lord's own strength and individual soldier ability, then he is not sleepy, and even has some expectations. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look at the opposite side of Yan Lai. It was the lord of a barbarian tribe. Just like Yan Lai, his muscles were bulging and he was extremely strong. He also held a pair of heavy machetes in his hands, and looked at Yan Lai with a grim look, and the orcs beside him. Human, dare to use my kin as an army to fight, you have the kind. After speaking, he directly summoned a black giant bear, covered in metal. I don't know if there is any, but I know your death is coming. Yanlai carried the giant axe on his shoulders and looked at each other proudly. Humph. Wait and see if you can say such a big thing again, come on. Tear him to pieces for me. Suddenly, the savage orc's momentum erupted, riding a giant bear and charging towards Yanlai. Wherever you go, the ground vibrates, the smoke rises, and there is a rumbling sound. It is you who should be torn apart. Rush for me. Roar. Yanlai was not afraid at all, and took the troops around him to meet him, and then the soles of his feet exploded, the whole person jumped high, and the axe slashed fiercely from top to bottom. Boom. The savage orc lord and the giant bear with the sword crossed over their heads were instantly smashed to the ground by this ferocious blow, splashing a large amount of smoke. Even if you are far away, you can feel the terrifying power contained in that blow. So strong. Lin Yu's face was solemn. When I first saw it before, the scene was chaotic and I didn't feel anything. But now that I saw it with my own eyes, I immediately felt the tyranny of Yanlai's strength, which was not even inferior to any Eighth Order arms. The power of his belief, I am afraid, has already crossed the threshold of the Eighth Order. Lin You made a comparison. When it comes to physical strength, he is absolutely incomparable to Yanlai. Because they are of the same level, and his belief power is only about 2,000. For those whose beliefs are close to the full value, the strengthening of their bodies is still a little different. Certainly. It's just a difference in physical strength. If it comes to various means, he may not lose much to those old lords. What a powerful force. On the side, the other lords of the primitive world were also shocked by Yanlai's blow just now, and their eyes were all attracted. I heard that Yanlai has a special territorial skill, and will improve his own and the strength of his arms according to his fighting will. The stronger the fighting will, the greater the improvement. So fierce. No wonder the pressure on him is so strong. After hearing the insider's explanation, the lords including Lin You suddenly realized. Yanlai is a sturdy person, which is a perfect match for this ability. If it were someone else, it would be difficult to exert the full effect of this ability. Sure enough, the strength of these things also varies from person to person. Then, Lin You continued to look at other venues. At this time in the major venues, there are already lords going up, or testing, or fighting fiercely. Abaya, shred the opposite Terran. Go on. Get that guy down. What is the ink mark? Come on. Okay. That's it. Screw his head off. Good job. Beat him up. The whole arena was lively, and the lords of all fields and the stands were even more clamoring, making the whole arena agitated. In just a few moments, many lords were defeated, either they were killed, or they simply surrendered when they sensed something was wrong, and finally made the venue vacant again. And Yanlai also used his own powerful strength to successfully kill the orc lord, and the points above the original realm became 1 point. Yanlai, I will meet you. At this time, Ao Wenyu from the Yuansha realm came out and teleported to the field where Yanlai was. This move immediately caused the lords on the primitive realm side to scold one after another. Too cunning. To take advantage of people's danger. Yanlai just went through a battle. Shameless. Really. Yanlai has just experienced a battle, and the consumption is not small. At such a time, it feels a little bit dangerous to play. But since it is allowed by the rules, there is nothing to say, only to vent their dissatisfaction through booze. This also made Lin You realize the deep rules of this secret realm. No matter what means are used, as long as you can stay on the court and defeat your opponent, then you are the winner and have the right to speak. Anything else is bullshit. After all, there is nothing fair in this world. Fortunately, he went to McGann to ask for a piece of Tier 8 soft armor these days, which has a lot of reduction effects on attacks below Tier 8. He also asked for an 8th Order broadsword with additional power for self-defense. These 2 pieces of equipment are made from the materials of the 8th Order, ground fire black scorpion and sandworm. They have natural resistance to the poisonous fire attribute, so they are quite good equipment. Why use a knife? That's because knives are relatively straightforward and easy to use. The newly upgraded Lord, the overall strength is basically the same as the newly recruited arms. Then the higher the power of faith, the stronger. The belief of the current level's full value is equivalent to twice the difference when it was just upgraded. Coupled with the equipment and the blessing of some territories, it is basically not much different. It was all discovered by Lin You through observation along the way. But he was a little surprised. Since getting the enhancement of Godhead fragments twice, his perception, his strength, and his reaction have all been greatly improved, by about 20%. Moreover, it is an increase in the power of belief, and the two add to each other. It's just that he has been fighting monsters all this time, and he hasn't tried much. I just took the opportunity of today's secret realm of the team to try my own weight. Was thinking. Suddenly there was a large cheer from the side, interrupting his thoughts. Lin You looked up and found that Yen Lai and Ao Wenyu had officially fought, and beside Ao Wenyu, there was a huge golden earth dragon. Dragon-type rare arms, Yen Lai is a bit disadvantaged this time. Situ Jian murmured in a low voice, his brows gradually furrowed. Although the golden earth dragon is only an earth dragon, it is the purest dragon species, and its comprehensive attributes are naturally higher than other dragon types. This Ao Wenyu really deserves to be the illegitimate son of the great emperor, and he is such a powerful weapon when he takes action. In contrast, the severe orcs seem to be too weak. Boom! At this time, the two people on the field collided again, making a violent explosion. Ao Wenyu, who was holding a long sword, was kicked out by Yen Lai. Unexpectedly, the barbarian orcs beside Yen Lai actually blocked the impact of the earth dragon. Haha, Ao Wenyu, today is your day of death. Yen Lai's wild laughter reverberated throughout the arena before rushing towards Ao Wenyu. His attacks opened and closed, and the giant axe smashed into Ao Wenyu's sword, causing a series of violent collisions. And his momentum continued to rise during the attack. Together with the barbarian armies, their eyes are red, they are swinging the giant axe and the front of the golden earth dragon are hard steel, and the sound of the collision makes the entire field vibrate violently. Damn! Ao Wenyu's face was gloomy, he had already heard Yen Lai's attack was fast and violent, and he was domineering. I didn't expect it to be so strong. Seeing that the golden earth dragon was dragged, he was gradually suppressed. Gua! He finally stared hard. A few beads appeared in his hand and slammed it towards Yen Lai. Careful! From the stands came the exclamations of the lords. Yen Lai's expression changed, and he didn't have time to dodge, so he had to throw the giant axe in front of him and stormed out. Boom boom dash. A violent explosion shook the eardrums. That power is actually far beyond the 8th order. Yen Lai, who was at the center of the explosion, was accidentally blown away, and his body was covered in blood. It's too despicable. It's a trick. Shameless. Too deceiving. The lords of the primitive world scolded, and the crowd was excited. Although they also knew that this was allowed by the rules, it did not prevent them from scolding directly to vent their indignation. Obviously, that prop did not belong to Ao Wenyu. I'm afraid it's a self-defense thing that his great emperor's father gave him. Most of the things above the 10th order require the power of rules to motivate, so they are at least 9th order things. Having a great father is really different. Yen Lai still wanted to get up and fight again. Unexpectedly, there was a sudden explosion from the stands. Yen Lai! Give him to me. It was the indifferent Situ Jian. Yen Lai glanced in the direction of the stand, and seemed to understand what Situ Jian meant. He glared at Ao Wenyu angrily, and then teleported away with a swoosh, giving up the fight. Immediately afterwards, Situ Jian appeared on the field, staring at Ao Wenyu with cold eyes. Lin You stood in the stands and looked at the two of them, and finally understood why Yen Lai retreated so bluntly. Because this battle is a battle between the sons of the great emperors. It is also Situ Jian's battle to prove himself. Boss Yan, are you alright? In the stands, just as soon as Yan Lai teleported, the lords who had healing units immediately summoned units to treat Yan Lai. Humph. With a little skin injury, what can I do? If it wasn't for that fellow Situ Jian, I would have chopped Ao Wenyu to pieces. Yan Lai snorted coldly. Then, he thought of something and looked at Lin You in the corner. Brother Lin, I only have one chance to play, and I have to recover from the injury before I play. Situ Jian probably won't be able to last a few games, so I can only leave it to you. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked, and they all looked at Lin You. Who is this person? How to make the always proud Yan Lai be called a brother? To know. Even for those 7th Order lords whose strength can rank in the top 100 on the continent, Yan Lai has never been a bird. Only a lord like Situ Jian who can compete with him will look straight at him. Could it be that this unremarkable guy actually has the strength to rival Yan Lai? At this moment, the lords were shocked. All looked at Lin You in disbelief, as if trying to see the difference in him. But no matter how they observed, they found that Lin You was just like them, just an ordinary lord who couldn't be more ordinary, and he didn't have any noticeable qualities. This may be because of Lin Yu's low-key and peaceful relationship. Don't worry, I should still be able to kill one or two. Lin You ignored everyone's eyes and nodded. The rules of this large-scale secret realm are obviously to pay attention to will tactics, and do not give people on the field time to rest. Even the most powerful lords will definitely be overwhelmed by the repeated challenges of so many lords of the same rank. Lin You didn't dare to care. Look inside the field again and start picking a suitable venue. And this time. On the other side, Situ Jian and Ao Wenyu have also started to work. No need for too many words at all, Situ Jian directly summoned a dark phantom mantis, laying a large number of eggs on the field. In a blink of an eye, there were a large number of 8th Order mantises around him, colliding with Ao Wenyu's golden earth dragon. A huge number of fast. A defense is amazingly high, and there are props to assist. The two sides fell into a stalemate in the blink of an eye. Looking at it like this, I am afraid it will take some time to decide the winner. There is. Finally, Lin You also found a suitable venue that was vacated. Without hesitation, he walked directly into the formation and teleported. The other lords on the side reacted, and they did not wait any longer. They came to the edge of the stand and began to teleport to the field to fight. Swish! A light flashed. In a forest field in the land area, Lin You with a big knife appeared on it. Whoosh! Before he could stand still, an arrow passed through the bushes and hit him straight. Sneak attack? Lin Yu's eyes froze. The broadsword was in front of him, and he bounced the arrow accurately, but he didn't see the other side. It seems to be a kind of better at hiding. That's why he chose the forest site. Because in addition to having advantages over plant troops, he can also use trees to block part of his line of sight, so that people outside will not know that he can use the power of rules. As long as he is careful, even if he is seen, he will be mistaken for the skills of the troops. After thinking about it, he stretched out his hand and summoned Lingxi, holding a staff. Puff! A low laugh sounded from behind the trees in the distance. I thought it would be a powerful opponent, but I didn't expect to summon a healing unit like the flower essence. You must know that once the troops are summoned after entering the battlefield, there is no way to change them. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.